Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. My name's Emily and I'm a knitter, crocheter, very occasional sewer. Today's episode is my month end wrap up for the month of August, so I'll be taking you through everything I finished off in the month of August. I'll also be going over my work in progress numbers. They're getting a little out of hand, I'll put it that way. And I'll also be going through any plans that I have for September. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned and we'll get stuck in. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well, that you're having an absolutely fantastic weekend so far. I am a little snotty this morning, sorry to be vulgar, but I am. That's the truth of the matter. It is also quite dull outside, hence why my ring light is on very bright today. It's usually on quite low. It's on very bright at the minute because, yeah, else I'd be doing it in the dark. So, yes, few technical issues, I would say, but yeah, here we are. We're here. That's the main thing. So, today's episode, as I said in my intro, is my month-end wrap-up for the month of August. Now, I don't know about you guys, but August went ridiculously fast. For me, it felt like it went ridiculously fast. Yeah, it was very fast. So I don't feel like I was constructive as I could have been. To be fair, I was away for a little bit, but I did do work. You know, I did crochet while I was there, so I'm a bit confused by August, to be honest with you. Anyway, that being said, you will have to excuse my hair. It's a little bit greasy because I'm about to go for a run, hence the attire. So I thought I'd get the recording done because it's Saturday today and my partner is at home. He's still in bed, bless him. But I thought I would get all the videos that I need to get recorded today done before he gets up, because otherwise it would be me banishing him upstairs, which would be fine, but yes. Anyway, let's jump straight in because I do have a little bit to cover this morning. So I'm going to start with my finished objects, and as I said, my finished objects, when I look at the pile, it's not that bad, but when I think about what I could have actually achieved in August, I think it wasn't as productive as it could have been. So I don't know what happened, basically. But anyway, we're going to get stuck in. So I'm going to start off with I finished 2 yarn cozy lights. The pattern is by Knitty Natty. So Natalie designs yarn cozies for popping in your cakes of yarn. Now, I really wanted to start a new shawl, or a new wrap, I should say, in August. And as part of that, there was going to be a lot of yarn management. So I thought, I'm going to do some yarn cozies before I start the project, because then I'm not going to get into tangles in the project bag, because essentially I'm going to have 6 cakes of yarn that are going to be in the bag, basically. So I thought, yes, I'll be productive and I'll make some yarn cozies. So I made 2 of the yarn cozy lights. These are both the knit pattern. Now, Knitty Natty does do a crochet pattern. I don't have that pattern, but I feel like I should invest in it because I do like crochet and I'm intrigued to see how they come together. But these are the yarn cozy lights. I have used the cabling pattern. I've showed you on the busiest one. Here we go. So you can see there's these twisted cables going on. She also does a rib pattern, and she also does instructions on how to do a stripy yarn cozy. So they're a great scrap busting project, which is what I wanted them for as well, to bust some of my scraps this year. So anyway, these are both for the 100-gram cakes of yarn. So I made 2. I made 2 more, and these are the yarn cozy minis, and these basically are for 50-gram. These are made for 50-gram cakes of yarn. So there we go. Exactly the same pattern again with this cabling going on, this twisted cabling. Yeah, again using scraps, and again for this wrap that I really want to do. So that's another 2. I do need to make 2 more 50-gram yarn cozies, but I haven't started those yet. I thought I'd give myself a break because I was going a bit yarn cozy heavy in August. But yes, so those are all the yarn cozies that I made in August. You have to excuse me, it's still quite early, and I think in the morning my hay fever just starts to get very in my nose. And I know we're nearly out of hay fever season, but I do have allergies, and yes. And if you watch my podcast, I have been ill, so I don't know what is actually going on with my body today, this month, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my body right now, but I will be going out for a run because going out for a run tends to clear my sinuses quite nicely, so that's what we're doing. Let me just take a sip of my tea. Got to hydrate, you know. This is just a decaf green. It's my morning tea. I always have a decaf green in the morning. I know, yeah, I should probably have coffee, but I don't. I do love coffee, but I love it a little too much. And I had to go on a decaf binge because, yes, it was getting a little crazy. Anyway, I digress. So on to the next finished object that I finished in the month of August, and it was this bad boy. Now, I absolutely adore this pattern. It's just amazing, and the yarn is beautiful. It plays so well with this pattern because obviously it was designed to work with this kind of yarn. So this is the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. That's the pattern, and the yarn is Shopful. Is it? Yes, it is. Souffle Crazy. So if I bring that up, I'm not entirely sure what you're seeing. I'm hoping you're seeing the cowl. Bring it down again. So this pattern uses 3 different colourways. So there's 3 different colourways going on in here. They are all, the nature of the yarn is it's 2 different colours plied together. So you're always having this, I don't even know if I can show you. You're always having this interplay of colours. So if I bring this bit up, you can see where that blue is. Let me get my finger on it. This blue here, you can see there's a dark blue and then there's like a paler blue going on. That is just the one ball of yarn, and that's because the 2 colours applied together throughout the ball. And also within that structure there is a self-striping element going on as well. So, and that's with both of the plies. There's different self-striping. It's just stunning. So the original yarn that she recommended was spin cycle yarn. Now I would have loved to have made this in spin cycle yarn, and who knows, I may actually go back and do it. I know that she's got I think she's got a shawl version of this, I believe. She has a couple of different variations upon this kind of idea. So I may go back, invest in some spin cycle and do one of the other ones at some point. Not anytime soon, but that is, you know, the cogs are working. But as an alternative yarn, I love this yarn. Shopful, Souffle Crazy, they are amazing. They are just such beautiful yarn. They are, from a texture wise, they are quite rustic feeling, but not in the sense that it will be scratchy. It is noticeable that they are rustic compared to, like, you know, 100% merino. I haven't got any. Like 100% merino or something like that. You can tell that it is more of a rustic wool that's been used, but honestly it is still really soft, really lovely, and those colours just play so nicely together within this pattern. It is such a fun pattern as well. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that is the, turn it around and show you the connection at the back, that's the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. Such a fun pattern. It is a fairly slow pattern in terms of a cowl, but that's just because of the busyness of the pattern. But once you get used to the pattern, it starts to come along a lot quicker, and then you're just more excited to see what the next section's going to do. And you know, it is a great fun make, this one, so I highly recommend it. Okie dokie, on to the final finished object that I finished in the month of August, and here he is. This is Gilbert the Pheasant, and the pattern is by Toft. He is the 5th, I think, just checking my birds at the top. Yep, he is the 5th bird of Christmas out of the, I do have the book here somewhere, here we go, out of this book, which is Partridge in a Pear Tree, Crochet the 12 Birds of Christmas by Kerry Lord of Toft, and he is down here. There he is. You just about to see him. And then these 4 here are actually sitting, I gotta do this right, there we go, they're sitting up here. You can't see them because the camera's not angled up high enough for you to see them fully, but you can see their legs, so you've got the idea. But I've been loving this project. Now, my original aim wasn't to try and get them finished for this Christmas, it was just to at least get them started, plough through and not put any time restraints on myself. However, I do feel like I am, because I think I started this back in May. So if I pushed myself a little harder, I reckon I could get them all done for Christmas, but I'm still not going to put that constraint on myself. But this is Gilbert. Isn't he lovely? His tail is perky. Now this is there's no modelling wire in here at all. This is just the nature of how it's been sewn to the body. So if you see that, there you go. Which I think is brilliant. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I love how short and stubby his little wings are. They're adorable. And again, what I love about the birds is these lovely floppy legs with the little knobbly knees, and they're just beautiful. They really are. I really like them. So that is Gilbert, and he is the 5th bird of Christmas. So there we go. Those are all my finished objects for the month of August. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I could have pushed and finished another project because I do have one that's finished. It's blocked. All I've got to do is sew in the ends. But there are a lot of ends and I just didn't have the heart to push myself to finish it just to have another finished object in this video. So realism here. We're not gonna force myself to do things that I'm not too keen on doing. So I will do that eventually, and it will probably be a finished object for September now. So that's a win in a way. Right, so onto my scrappy projects. I do have 2 scrappy projects. One is the granny stripe blanket by Attic24. It has been tailored to work with fingering weight yarn. So I mean, you could use whatever yarn you like really, but I decided to do it in fingering weight yarn because that's the yarn that I use the most of, and that's the yarn that I have the most scraps of. So it made sense to do that. Plus, I've been watching Knitty Natty's channel, and she had this absolutely beautiful scrappy granny blanket. Granny stripe blanket. Too many words. She had a beautiful version of Attic24's, yes it is Attic24's, scrappy granny stripe blanket that she tailored to work with fingering weight yarn. So I am using the Attic24's pattern, but I am also putting that alongside with Natalie's notes because she's got notes on her Ravelry page of how she tailored it to work with fingering weight. So that's what I'm doing. I am also working on the Battenberg blanket, which is beautiful. It is by Sandra Paul of Cherry Heart. It is absolutely beautiful, and it utilises very, very, probably not that big, very tiny granny squares, very tiny. And the idea is to have it kind of as a patchwork idea. So it looks like a Battenberg, so you've got coloured and coloured, and then you've got like a white or a really beautiful neutral interspersed in between each of these coloured squares. So originally I was thinking that I wouldn't go that route, that I would just make the squares and make the blanket, you know, not thinking about dotting these other colours in between. But now I've changed my mind, and I think I would like to have the neutral colour going in between. So I have a couple of skeins of undyed yarn that I will use for that. That being said, I'm explaining all this, I'm not showing you anything, and that is purely because I haven't done any more work on it than I've done the last month. So yeah, there's no point me bringing them out, but I thought I'd just tell you about them just in case you weren't aware of my scrappy projects. But those are my 2 scrappy projects. Now onto my works in progress numbers. Now yes, August was a very on heavy month it was. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have been with me for how long, so you may or may not remember that at the start of the year I was doing my best to get my works in progress numbers down. And the way I was doing that was I was saying that I was limiting myself and saying that I needed to finish 2 works in progress before I could cast something new on. So what that meant was every time I cast something new on, at least 1 work in progress had been eliminated from the pile. That was the idea, and it was working fantastic. I managed to get my works in progress number down quite low. I was really pleased, so I stopped doing it. I stopped limiting myself and just thought, I'm just gonna go back to the freedom of casting on whenever I want and just enjoying that. So yes, the works in progress have returned back up. So what have I got in progress? I currently have 17 works in progress. I also have, on top of that, I have my 2 scrappy projects, and then I also have 1 gift project that I am working on. So if you add all of those together, that is 20 works in progress in total. 3 of the works in progress are paused at the moment. I would probably say there are more than that are paused, to be fair. But yes, the numbers have gone up again. That is fine. I think I just need to focus a bit more. At least when I was doing my limiting when I could cast on, at least when I was doing that, I could focus a bit more on not necessarily the easy wins, but the ones that were really close. Like, for example, my Find Your Fade shawl. It's ready, it's blocked, I just need to tie in the ends. So that is an easy win, if you will. Lydia the Goose, I've finished all her parts, I just need to sew her together. Things like that, you know, so that could be 2 projects that I could eliminate really fast. So yeah, I think this month I need to focus on little things like that, just finishing off the remainders, if you will. And yeah, that's where I'm at with works in progress. It's a bit high, the number, but I'm not uncomfortable about it. No, I don't think I am. I'm not uncomfortable about it. I get shifty eyes then. I was like, am I? No, I'm fine. It's all good. But those are the numbers where they're at. So on to the final section, which are my plans for September. So I do have a couple, but I also have in the back of my mind that October is coming up very fast. I have a couple of things happening in October. The big one being Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along. So I will be taking part again this year, and I'm very excited, to say the least. But I also remember that it eats up a lot of time. In fact, I think last year when I was working on Twists and Turns, I'm not sure I actually managed to work on anything else in October. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking the plans that I'm about to tell you, some of them are probably more like November plans, basically, because of how busy October is going to be with that make along. So anyway, I'm going to tell you my plans anyway, and we'll see what happens, you know. Right, so the first plan that I have is obviously continuing with this lovely book, A Partridge in a Pear Tree, Crochet the 12 Birds of Christmas. Now, Lydia the Goose, as I said earlier, she is done. I just need to sew her together. I have started Margot the Swan, who is bird number 7. So yeah, I mean, I'll just carry on, see how far I get. As I said, I'm not too bothered if I don't get them finished for Christmas. However, I'm starting to feel like the closer I get along this line, the closer I'm getting to finishing them, the more I want them for Christmas. Does that make sense? Or at least December. So I might make a push at getting these done. We shall see. But anyway, I'm going to continue with these, see how far I get. The next project is... which one? Let's show you this one. The next project that I have that I would love to cast on in September. I'm not sure it's going to happen, to be honest, guys, but I really want to cast this on. And this is the April Snow Wrap by Andreas Ruthman. I really want to cast this on so much. I nearly cast it on in August, but the reason I didn't was because after reading the pattern, I realised it was going to be a bit more in-depth. It's going to use a bit more brain power, at least to start with, than I was thinking it was going to be, basically. There is a little bit more involved. It's an assigned pooling project, and so basically when you get to your colour change, you need to do something different with the stitch, which is great. I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. I've never done it before, and I'm so excited to give it a go and just see how it works, really. It's just something new that I've never tried before. I also love the finished project. I'm just so excited to try this out. But as I said, I didn't cast it on in August because I favoured a different project over this one. I started my Pink Fizz, which has been in the planning for a lot longer than that one, so that's fine. I would love to say I'm going to cast it on in September. However, I'm going to kind of put a pin in it and say it's possibly not going to happen in September. Reason being, with the MCAL coming up, a lot of time is going to be dedicated towards the MCAL. I know I'm not going to finish the April Snow Wrap in September, so that's a very loose plan. Most of these are actually, because I think if you remember with Pink Fizz, that didn't get cast on for months and months. But anyway, another project that I really, really want to cast on, although this isn't actually, again, this is another one. Let's put a pin in this one. I'm so excited about this one. I didn't know the pattern was coming. As soon as the pattern was released, I was on Ravelry and that was it. It was mine. I had to buy this pattern. Now, I'm just going to show you the pattern. So this is it. This is the Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. There you go. How pretty. Ah, it's just beautiful. When I saw Laura working on this blanket, now initially she started working on this, I think about a couple of months ago, or even last year, possibly, end of last year. I can't remember, but she has been working on this blanket, and every time I see it, I think, oh, that blanket is beautiful. I really want to make it. And I was trying to figure out how I could make it, because at that time she hadn't got a pattern for it, and she was saying that it was more of a knit for her. It wasn't something she was making with the intention of making writing a pattern for. Perfectly fine. I get it totally. You know, it's one of those things that you've got to have those knits that are just for you. And as much as people would have wanted a pattern for it, I totally got her choice, and I understood that that was something she wasn't prepared, or she felt in the right space to do so. Totally got it, but I loved the pattern. I loved what she was creating, and I thought that would work absolutely beautiful with my lovely Attic Spin Dye Beatrix Potter Club. I thought that would work. That would be the perfect pattern for these yarns. So if I briefly show you these. So we've got these ones. So all of these are inspired. This is Jemima Puddle Duck, by the way. These are all inspired by Beatrix Potter's books and characters. So there's, that is The Tale of Mr. Todd and Tommy Brock, and this one I think is, yes, Jeremy Fisher. So these are coming off really blown out, aren't they? The light has just gone really bright. So yeah, we've just got loads of these. These are absolutely stunning, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful. So this was my plan for all of these, was to try and make a blanket very, very similar to, oh, this is Peter Rabbit. How beautiful is that? Peter Rabbit one. Beautiful. All of them have got the little micros with them. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the micros yet, but yeah, anyway. So all of these, absolutely gorgeous. Now, I haven't started the project. I hadn't started any project with them, because the colours, so most of them are 100 gram skeins, but some of them, as you saw with Jeremy Fisher, for example, were 250 gram skeins. So I have just received instalment 11, and there's one more to come after that one. So as soon as I get that instalment, the final instalment, so there'll be 12 instalments, of which 2 of them are 52, are two 50-gram skeins of yarn. I'm not entirely sure what the final instalment will be, whether it'll be 100-gram or 250 grams. So once I get that, I will then be able to know how many different colours I have to work with this blanket, and then I'll be able to organise it properly. But anyway, Laura released the pattern yesterday, and oh, I cannot tell you how excited I was for her, because I know that it was just a labour of love for her, and the fact that she has released it, I know that there are many people like myself who are just so happy that she has, because it is a pattern that, watching it develop on her channel, I just fell in love with it and thought, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to make that. But again, I understand her reasons for not making it a pattern, so that's fine. But the fact that she has released it, I'm sure there are many, many, many people out there who are extremely happy and extremely excited to have this pattern, and extremely excited for her, because I'm pretty sure that pattern has received an absolutely wonderful reception. So thank you so much, Laura, for releasing that pattern, because honestly, yeah, it is stunning. It is absolutely beautiful, and I can see that it is going to be one of those patterns that I am going to absolutely enjoy every single moment of it. So thank you if you do see this, Laura, thank you. So yeah, that's my plan for all of these. Obviously not these tiny little micros, because they're 10, are they 10 grams? I think they're 10 grams. But yeah, so this is going to be my Beatrix Potter blanket, which, oh, so excited. I don't know where I'm going to put all this now. Shove it over there. Anywho, so that is another plan. That probably won't get cast on this month, because as I say, I'm still waiting for the final instalment, which will be received towards the end of the month, but planning can at least start at the end of the month when I get that last skein of yarn. So that's one of them. Another plan, this one again is by Laura Penrose, and I'm so excited. It is her Souffle. There we go, Souffle by Penrose Knits. You can't really see too much there, so I'm going to show you the next pictures that I have. Here they are. Absolutely stunning. So it's a little t-shirt, and it's knit fully with mohair. And what I absolutely adore about this design is just this little ruffle here. It's such a delicate, it's just a delicate pattern. I think it's beautiful. But I have received my yarn. I think this is the right colour. I think I'm happy with it, but this is the colour I've chosen. I think that's going to work quite nice for me. I'm a very blue person. I hope that's enough. It doesn't look enough, but I've read the pattern for the yardage requirements, and I've read how many meters, sorry, for the meter requirement, and I've read how many meters you get out of these, and it's in the numbers work, so hopefully that's enough. But yeah, that's the colour I've gone with, and hopefully I'll be able to cast that on, but I think I'm not going to cast it on until I've finished my pink fizz. But it's definitely a plan. I definitely want to cast that on. It's absolutely stunning. Another pattern that I am hoping to cast on in September is the Sheila Hat and Cowl Set by Linda Simpson. Now I think on Ravelry, when I checked and I added the pattern to the pattern link to my podcast video, it's called the Disley Sisters. Or the Disley Hat and Cowl Set. So I'm not entirely sure, but the pattern says the Sheila Hat and Cowl Set, and I believed it's yeah, so I'm not entirely sure, but I will link it below anyway, as I usually do, so that you can see it if you wish. It's a crochet hat and cowl set, and this will be made as part of Linda Simpson's hat and cowl fall make along. So that's hopefully what I'm going to cast on, because I think that ends in early November. So I'd like to be able to finish my Musselburgh hat, and I'd like to be able to cast on that and to finish that as well. So then I'll have 2 submissions for her, which is very exciting. So let me just double check my notes. Oh yes, obviously in October, so next month. That's right. Next month is obviously October, and Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along starts. I will be taking part. I'm very excited, and I'm hoping to increase my videos in October to take part in Vlogtober. So fingers crossed that will work out. But as I say, I have been very busy lately, so I'm not 100% sure what is going to happen, but obviously I will do my best to accommodate that and increase my videos just to kind of, they might be shorter, in fact they will be shorter, hopefully they will be shorter, because I recognise that my podcasts are actually quite long. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching once again. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the support and love that you give me. It really does mean the world. So yeah, I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of the weekend, rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.